Welcome, fellow last places, to another episode of LPF Debrief, where Chris and I talk about comic books, TV shows, and movies. And on today's episode, as you see in the title, we are going to be talking about She-Hulk, episode 5. So, if you guys don't want to hear any spoilers, please stop now, pause it, go watch the episode, and then come back. And because I forgot to do it last week, or I think I forgot to do it last week, we're going to do it this week. We're going to shame Yendi and not watching any of the content that we watch. And just an overall shame because he wasn't even here on Tuesday. So double shame for Yendi. 3 Tuesdays. We're just going to,
Shame,
maybe
shame,
we should
shame,
do a
shame.
We should just do a shame episode for Yendi.
30 minutes of us just being like, shame. Shame.
And we're going to be like, just all of his transgressions, just be like, Yendi didn't do this. Shame. Yendi didn't do that. Shame. Like, just a shame.
Get his wife
thing.
to like special call in.
Yeah, special call in. What would you like to shame Yendi in?
He didn't wash the dishes this afternoon. Shame.
So, all right. As always, guys, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, comment down below. Let us know what you guys thought of the episode because we would love to hear it. So, moving on, let's go and talk about episode 5. Chris, what were your thoughts?
Thoughts about episode 5 are, I guess our side characters got a little, they had their own adventure. So they left the main character out. Not a lot. I mean, she still had her moments and everything like that, but I liked going on the adventure with the other two. Finding out about the, what is it called? The drip broker.
Yep.
Was dope. I thought it was hilarious. We got a little scene there at the end. So technically Alan wasn't wrong what he said last episode, but at the same time he was not right. But it was an overall great episode. It's cool to see that what's her name? Tatiana, right?
Titania.
Okay, sorry. The actress's name is okay. So Titania, that they're not okay. So they're obviously they have beef and everything like that from the very first episode. So instead of going out in the streets and they're punching each other in the streets and destroying the city, it's hilarious that they have to go. They're fighting, but it's in court, and it's all taking place of like it's kind of like if you took the Avengers and they were on one side of the table and Thanos was taking the stand of like, well, they hit me and they tried to stop me because I was trying to save the world. And then, trying to go through all that. It's just a funny take and a different take on superheroes. So, I continue to enjoy this show and they keep killing it. I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah. Same. I mean, this show for me, like I said, it is what it is as far as being a comedic lawyer show, right? And they told you that that they told you exactly what the show was going to be, and they've stuck to their guns about the show. So, I've enjoyed exactly what they told me it was going to be. Like, you know what I mean? Like for what it is. Obviously, like the comedy, I'm here for it. I think it's funny. I love, Jen Walters, just the way that she approaches things, just like from even the whole intro for me was fantastic, where you had Titania just basically like ripping off the name, but like she has like these advertisements everywhere and basically like, and then they dove into it and then kind of breaking that fourth wall again. They do the intro how they normally do the intros to the shows and say, oh, the character's name. They're like, and She-Hulk presented by Titania, like stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, they're just having fun ways with the character itself. And they're also not leaving things out. So like everything feels relevant, right? So we find out later why that dating episode was relevant because of this, right? Like that whole dating section was because, she needed them all to then testify for her. So I thought bringing that back was really cool. I love that we got to spend some time with Nikki and Pug, as they go to the drip boss, and she basically like trying to list like, hey, this is a boba tea store. Like this ain't what you think.
Oh my god! And then whenever she tries to speak
Chinese, and then he's like, I'm not Chinese.
And she's like, I feel really bad.
Yeah, she did that thing that everyone would be like, all right, now where do I go from here? But just that whole thing, and then again I love that they're making sure they're adding a courtroom or a scene as far as it being a lawyer show, making sure that they add like a case per show. I think that's really good. And I think a show like this, honestly, doesn't even need to be tied in to the Marvel universe, right? Like it's a plus that we're getting all this stuff, but like you could do 20 episodes of just 20 different cases that She-Hulk has to go through. And I think we would all be in there. And it was fun that she wasn't the person, you know, the defendant or the I mean, she was the defendant in this case and not the actual lawyer. So which brings me to how much I really enjoyed uh Mallory's character, Mallory Book, who is played by Renee Else Goldsberry. And if you don't know who she is the original in Hamilton. She sings what you call she's Elizabeth Schuyler in Hamilton. So obviously I love her already. And
Yeah.
then she was just fantastic seeing her play that role. And then them having this like love-hate relationship, right? Because at first they start off pretty like she's like all about the business, like, no, like just don't bother me. I don't want to be friends with you. But it's a fun fact. The reason why they did that is because Mallory Book's character is actually in the comic books, and she is Jen's like rival. Like no most cases, she is usually going against Mallory because in the comic books, Jen doesn't actually work for that law firm. She works for another law firm, and GNL, I think it's GNH or GNL.
Mhm.
They're actually her rival, like attorney thing. So just them having some fun with that kind of like back and forth of like is you know if you're gonna be my if I'm gonna be like representing you, I need you to dress properly, like which then leads us to like the whole thing with the drip broker. And then like just because she's just not looking good, we actually see one of her past dates. Well, what was that guy's name? Todd, the one that she was just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I know her. Like,
Yeah. I was gonna say with her past dates too, the other guy that actually, stayed the night and stuff like that.
yeah,
They had sentimental music when he's walking out and he gives her that look. And I was like, why
yeah.
do we care? He's a douchebag. Like, wait.
Well,
Like he's not sweet. He's like,
yeah,
oh, I like her alter. He's like, I love She-Hulk, not her. And it's like, it's
yeah,
the
but
same person. She's just tall and green. That
yeah.
makes no
Well,
sense.
I mean, it's funny because again, it's what I was talking about the last episode, right? Where they're doing that thing where they're making different personas, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because Hulk had to deal with different personas. She does, like, you know what I mean? And she doesn't. They're doing it through the everything on the outside, on how everyone perceives her. So like Hulk had the issue the exact opposite, right? Everyone was like, "Oh, this is Bruce Banner. This is Bruce Banner's fault. Like he is the Hulk." Like, you know what I mean? And here it's more like, yeah, Jen is She-Hulk, but everyone doesn't see it that way. They see him as two different people. So to mask that into the show, I think they're doing a really good job that people might not even be picking that up, that they're doing it. And to see that is really cool because we see how the different scenarios and just how different people react to each character, even though both of them are Jen, right? So I thought they are doing a really masterful job at just doing that in total, right? I loved the Avengers like
And
gear and stuff
Avengers.
like that. And in Avengers, he's just like, yo, I've got I got Avengers gear and I have Avengers gear. Like, you know what I mean? And he just like, and then Pug just being like the fanboy. Because first of all, the whole reason why they even got this whole thing started was because he wanted to go get the new Iron Man 3s, which,
Which
to stand
sounds
in line with
dope.
Nikki. Yeah, and if you remember, if you go back to episode 2, where that in that scene when she's looking for new jobs,
Yeah.
it shows that they were going to be released, the Iron
Oh,
Man
okay.
3s, and then they show like a picture, and they show it actually in the credit scene, not like, because since we didn't have an end credit scene, the actual credits, while it's rolling, if you look and pause it, there's a whole shoes collection which could be hinting at other characters, but you have like Doctor Doom's colorway, you have like a bunch of other people's shoes, and like, could be hinting at the characters we are going to see later on in the show and the series, I think. So them taking their time to do that, I thought was really cool. Just the whole court case itself was funny because like they initially go into court, and then she has to try to find her way on how she's going to prove that she didn't like that she wants the name She-Hulk, because remember her outburst, and even in this episode they were like, she's like, I don't want this name, like it's a stupid name. And then you have the interview where she's just like, yeah, I am She-Hulk. And then they were like, hey, you have to prove that you're She-Hulk. Like, what's another way you can prove it? And then they have the whole doc talking about the dating app and things like that. So everything in the first 4 episodes were all relevant to this episode, right?
Yeah.
I did think we would have had a little bit more of a like, a wow factor besides just what we saw at the end, just because this is the mid-season finale. As far as, but again, the reason why I guess it makes sense is because this show was originally supposed to be 12 episodes, and now it's 9 or 10, right? And I think because the original was supposed to be 12 episodes, I think episode 6 is actually going to be the mid-season finale, because that was what it was intended to be, which now, so yes, you're right. I wasn't correct in seeing what we saw at the end, but I did say mid-season finale. So if he shows up obviously in the next episode, technically I was right. I'm just saying, because it makes sense though. It makes sense. It really I think it makes even more sense to have it now in episode 6, because now you can have the last 3 episodes with, Daredevil in it, basically. Just because that makes sense, right? Because I'm not sure what our next show. I think we have what, Secret War, Secret Invasion. I got to look at our list, but I'm pretty sure somewhere, Born Again is going to want to come out, and we have to remember there's a group of people who never seen the um the Daredevil Netflix shows, right?
Yeah.
Even though they're on Disney Plus now, there might be some people who have no idea who that character is. So I think it is smart to introduce him in Fisk, especially because the show's tone is going to change, because the show's not going to be as dark as it was on Netflix. So seeing a lighter of both of those characters, even though I think they could have shown a little bit more darkness on Fisk, but I think just seeing the tone of the characters earlier is going to help just people ease into, oh, okay, I know where that character is, and now if I want to watch the show, I can go watch it. So um, I think they did a really good job with that whole. I think name was Luke, which is Luke Jacobson was the tailor, basically, who's actually becomes Frogman in the comics, but I don't know if they're going with that route. But that's why they use that name. That doesn't mean they're going to make him a superhero. I'm just saying that because I don't want to, but I'm pretty sure they use that name so that we could be familiar with the people who know. So, and I don't know if you realize that they made fun of if they made fun of Batman and Robin, because you remember when he's like talking about the suit or making a new suit, and then you see that little mannequin with the bat nipples.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were making fun
Yeah.
of Batman and Robin with that. So it was really cool. So like for me, again, I don't think, much story wise besides much story didn't happen here. Like we just had some growth of, like, we know a little bit more about Nikki, we know a little bit more about Pug, we know, I don't think we like really discovered anything new about Jen in this episode, that she hasn't shown us before. I think this episode, like you pointed out, was just, this episode felt really much like a world building episode, and just building everything that's around Jen, opposed to like having her character be like at the forefront. Because if we really look at it, it was Mallory, Nikki, Pug's episode essentially. Like, but and when we had some small parts of Jen there and She-Hulk. So I think this episode was definitely meant and designed to build everything around her a little bit more, just because again, this show was originally supposed to be 12 episodes. So I can see why this episode would have been a little bit slower and a little bit, I guess, more, because I didn't feel like it was slow because it's only 30 minutes, but a little bit more character driven than just like
This one
trying
felt
to
really quick
move
to
the
me.
story. Yeah.
It felt
To feel like
very
the
fast.
movie story. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, but overall, like I said, I enjoyed it. There hasn't been an episode I haven't enjoyed, to be honest. Like I said, I personally love the 30 minutes because it's nice. It's, you get your point. And I could watch 30 minutes of these for like, 12, 20 episodes. I don't care. Like I can just continue to go with it. So, and then obviously at the end, we saw the helmet of Daredevil out there. The OG helmet, by the way, because those were his OG colors before he donned the like crimson color. So it's gonna be fun. I wonder what made them do that. I'm sure we'll get an explanation because obviously Matt went to this person or someone went there for Matt, which is another thing I want answered. Who did this? Like, was it, was it Froggy? Like, I want to know, like, who went to the
Well, he's not in it,
thing
right?
for him?
He's not in the
Well,
news.
we don't know though.
Oh,
we
yeah,
don't
true.
know. The only people who've been announced has been Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio. So, but I mean, obviously Echo is going to be in that show at some point.
Yeah.
Obviously She-Hulk, but I don't know if how many of the other characters they're bringing back. So that's going to be interesting to see in itself. And I think they wanted it to be a surprise. And I think I was going to say though, I wish, and I'm obviously this would have been really difficult because I wish though that we could have, if they would have found a way to hide that Charlie Cox was going to be in this show. Because think about how much more impactful that would have been to see that helmet if you had no idea Daredevil was going to be in it. Like, and I know they want to draw people in it so that they can draw the ratings and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But the factor of it just being like, oh snap, like everyone just finding out in the show opposed to finding out before, because obviously we know he would have been like circling around and it would have made sense. But if we didn't know and then he just showed up, or you would have seen that helmet, it would have made it a little bit more of a wave, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was crazy. It was funny because I stopped mid show to come back to the stream for Call of Duty, and then I went back. But Bree continued watching. I was like, "You can watch the rest of it. I'll watch the rest when I get back." And she went and got dinner, or she went and got us lunch. And while she was getting us lunch, I finished watching it. She's like, "Yeah, maybe you can explain the ending to me. I feel like it's supposed to be a big impact, but I don't remember like what like." She's like, "You'll see." And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, weird. Goes in, and then whenever I hear him say, or she gives the drip broker, which by the way is a dope name,
Yeah,
right?
the drip broker,
If I
yeah.
actually cared about the way I dressed and everything like that, that would probably be my gamer tag. Like it's a good name.
No, it's someone has it.
Yeah,
I can guarantee.
All
it.
right, yeah, it's so good. But whenever he gives her the second suit, and she's like, "Oh, I don't think I'll need this," and that I'm guessing that's hinting towards her Avengers suit, or her superhero suit. I was like, "Oh wait, they're gonna show us her suit or something?" And she's like, Bree just kind of gave me that look, and then he opened the box and I saw the helmet. I was like, "That's Daredevil. You don't know who Daredevil is?" She's like, "Oh no, I didn't know." Like she said, all she really paid attention to were the horns. And she's like,
Yeah.
"It wouldn't make sense for Loki to be in this, like, or something like that." And I was like, "No, it's Daredevil." She's like, "Oh, okay, cool." So,
Yeah.
yeah, that whole area, that whole section, and having somebody that builds the suit, like literally alive. It'd be kind of funny if they had like a replica of Edna Mode somewhere in the background.
This was the nod to
Yeah,
Edna.
yeah.
Like to have, because I mean he was pretty big on no capes.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like just things like that. So this was kind of like it would be cool though if that showed up, because then it would be like, hey, Disney like exists in
Yeah.
the MCU. Like, you know what I mean? I think that would have been hilarious. But this definitely was a nod to Edna for sure.
I liked his attitude too. Like I really, it's probably my favorite section of this episode was introducing this character and having a thought of, oh, there's a guy who makes superhero suits, and how offended he got when she's like, I just need a basic suit. He's like, honey, I don't make basic.
Yeah.
Like I make high grade military stuff.
Yeah, Edna Mode.
Like, yeah, and she's like, you could tell he had that look of like, don't waste my time. And then whenever she, grew and shrunk and everything like that, I'm guessing he's like, in his head, he's like, this is the Ant-Man that got away. Like, I didn't get to do Ant-Man's suit, but I'll get to do yours. And this
But
will
it's
be
a
great.
challenge though. It's a unique challenge. And I think as an artist, and I mean in any form, like, you know what I mean, you look for things that are going to challenge you, especially if you feel like you're the best. So to have to add on to what you said, just Hulk not doing that, right?
Yeah.
Not going, because he obviously knows Hulk. So he's like, oh, I get to work on a Hulk. Like, and that's what Nikki said. Nikki was like, and you get to work on like a Hulk. Like, you know what I mean? So it was enticing to be like, okay, I'll take the job. Even though I was annoyed, but like this is a unique challenge. I could see what my brain can fire up. So I thought that was dope.
Yeah. Although I will miss the I told Bree that the actress is cute, and so whenever she shrinks down and she has the big suit, the oversized suit on
Yeah.
her, I'm like, it's an adorable moment of her just like, yeah, like going through. So, but yeah.
Yeah. Overall, like I said, strong episode. I'm really interested, especially with that cliffhanger on this last episode, to see if we do get Matt Murdock next episode. And what's the reason for him being there, which is going to be really intriguing to me, right? Because I want to know. Obviously, they're both lawyers, so there's going to be a reason they might be going against each other in court. Like, you know what I mean? Who knows? And I think you have some really good dynamic there. And I think you get to see a fun side of Daredevil, like with the, fun. And you get to really show off Charlie Cox's acting skills, because, I mean, we've seen him in the serious roles in Daredevil. We saw him be kind of funny in Spider-Man, like, you know what I mean? But he was also funny in Daredevil. But like now it's going to be a little bit lighter. I know a lot of people are going to complain about that because they're going to be like, why is he so stupid? Like, everything doesn't have to be rated up. Yes, people are already complaining because they're like, why do they have to make Daredevil be a lighter tone or stuff like that? We want the rated R stuff. But that's just, I mean, that's how it is, because people saw it one way and it worked that way. Now it's the only way it can possibly work, which is that's just how people think. But hopefully, it's good stuff. I like I said, I'm sure they're gonna do fine. He's just gonna be a little bit, and I am interested to see what they make the show, though, if they do make that show rated R, because Disney is looking to push some other of that content. So I am interested to see, but I definitely don't think it'll be as violent as Netflix, because the Netflix shows were overly violent. But I mean, it was necessary, but they were 100% overly violent. Because if you've seen any of those Punisher scenes, you'll know. Wait a second.
I only saw the first season of the Punisher.
Oh my god! But yeah,
that one was that was a lot for me. I was like, holy crap!
Yeah.
The Jigsaw.
But I mean, that is the Punisher character. So because those Max books were written like that. But yeah, but anything else you want to close off on this episode?
I wanted to clean up something we said last episode about Madison
with the Y.
With a Y. So,
not
where you think. Yeah. We said Wongi.
It's Wongers.
It's Wongers. Yeah.
Wongers.
That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. Something like that. We knew. We knew. The people who watched the episode were probably like, "Yeah, you guys are wrong."
And the Mephisto rumors and all that stuff are on fire again. Holy crap! All engines.
I told you. I was like, I was like, listen.
It's like, this is it. It's happened. I guess it's it.
I didn't want to be the one who started it, but I'm just saying. I saw the goat and I was like, listen. I know a lot of the other stuff might have been a reach, but this one is legit. Like, you know what I mean? So,
does his name have to do with anything? Because she said his name, the demon's name was
Jake? like Jacob or Larry or something like that.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, I don't think it did, but the form did. The fact that she said a goat that's the only time I was like, oh, okay, this might be it. And I mean, like I said, having Mephisto in the world does make sense because of what he has done in the comic book.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, just because, for instance, like even with Wanda's kids, like, you know what I mean? He has a direct correlation to those things. Like I said, that Spider-Man story with Brand New Day, like things like that. Like, there's a reason for him to be in there. I just don't know how they would make that work. And seeing it in a live action. But also, I mean, hey, they made Dormammu work in a weird way. So who knows?
True.
So, all right. Well, you gave your favorite part of the episode, right? You said the
the drip broker scene of like just introducing that character in general. Yeah.
My favorite was just the fact that they built the characters around her. And that, like, when you build characters around your main characters, it makes it easier to pilot or to get another season of a show like this, because if you have other strong characters, you know that people are going to be down for it. I mean, look at Loki, right? Loki's without gosh, why am I forgetting his name off the top of my head?
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson's character. Like that's the
Mobius.
reason why, you know, you get Morbius. Like
Yep.
that's the reason why you get, you know, season 2s of some of these shows, right?
Yeah.
So building those characters are important. And like I said, in a 30-minute episode, having an episode where you build those characters is fine. So I really enjoyed it. But yeah. All right. I think that is going to be it for us. We will see you guys next week. I will be dropping go check out Chris's reactions to the Call of Duty stuff. It's on. He did a live stream on it.
Very surprising. We thought, you know, after a full year of just disappointments, except for God of War, and Breath of the Wild, Call of Duty. I'm very excited. So you can go see those reactions. I wish I had our chat up, because I think what kind of made it the best was seeing Alan and Yendi's reaction of like, oh my God, this is actually good. And I'm like, yes.
Well, I mean, they took their time, but we'll save that for Tuesday or something like that. But we're going to be dropping that. So go check that out. I'm going to drop the Ring of Power episode, and then also the Ring of Power episode should come out either tomorrow or Saturday. And then Monday or Tuesday, we'll be dropping that House of the Dragon. So a bunch of content. And then next week, we actually have, is it Andor already? Or is it the following week? But I know Chris won't be here. But
yeah, it's going to be rough.
It's supposed to be dropping.
Yeah.
So it'll be a lot of me.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Be prepared.
For you guys, I will be in Portugal for 10 days. So yeah, it's going to be different.
Yeah, we got this. Yeah. But all right. So we will catch you guys on the next one. Until next time, Fire Team out.